Like watching you flail around in your ignorance. It's been fun.
Well, the fun is about to come to a dead end.
Your new transportation. Aston Martin, call it the Vanquish. We call it the Vanish.
Oh, very good. Say,
Twist so, voila.
you know, you're cleverer than you look.
Still better than looking cleverer than you are.
Who sent you?
Your mama. Where you're going, you'll get us both killed.
I can tell.
Like we're going down together.
Not yet.
How's it going out there, YouTube land and all subsequent social media lands? Welcome to an all-new video. So welcome to my next all-new James Bond-a-thon review on my quest to No Time to Die. I actually went and saw it, No Time to Die today, so it was a fantastic film. Can't wait to talk about that and do a review on that, but that's not what this review is about. This is going to be about the 20th, that's right, the 20th James Bond film, and we're going to get right into that. Before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on this video and the other videos I put up. As always, people, if you enjoy my content here on YouTube, you should definitely check out my other social media platforms, such as Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, where I post pretty much on a regular basis, so definitely check those out, too. As always, people, let's get right into this! So welcome one and all to an all-new video. So like I was saying before, we're going to be doing a review on another James Bond-a-thon review in my Bond-a-thon review series. And that, of course, happens to be the next film in the James Bond series that I watched, and is the 20th overall in the entire James Bond series. And that, of course, is the film known as Die Another Day. Yeah, Die Another Day. Yeah, so this one came out in 2002. This is the last time Pierce Brosnan plays James Bond himself. This was his fourth and final outing as Mr. James Bond. And is also the last one before a pretty much like a 4-year hiatus before we got another James Bond film as well. But a amazing, awesome, storyline that was so fun, so awesome, that had a lot of great potential. And I know a lot of people hate this film. A lot of people say that this was, I think, one of his, the worst of the Pierce Brosnan ones. And, unfortunately, I do have to agree with them on that point, because there's so many things about this film that just were so wrong, but could have been so good and so amazing in so many ways. Now, to start us off is with the director himself, known as Lee Tamarair. Yeah, Lee Tamarair. If I'm not saying that last name right, sorry. That's just a hard name to pronounce. But Lee is the director of this James Bond film. He's done a few films over the years. He's done music videos. He's done all kinds of different things. But he has a pretty decent eye for action. But with this film, I just think there was a lot of lack and not a good direction that he unfortunately didn't go in with this film, which could have made this film so much better. So when it comes to Lee, like I said, he's directed quite a few different films over the years, but one that really sticks out the most to me that was a really decent film is a Nicolas Cage film starring also Julianne Moore and Jessica Biel called Next. Yeah, Next. This movie really rocks. It came out in 2007. This was a really well-executed, awesome, kind of like action-packed, sci-fi type of film that had a really great premise and just a really cool concept as well. And with Next, I can see Lee really does have a good directing, chops, and that he has a really good eye for action and all this kind of stuff, and, knew a lot more with what he wanted to do with this film versus the James Bond film. And I just thought it was a really well done film and really action-packed and just fun. If you haven't seen Next, definitely check it out. Lee actually directed this very well. But when it comes to, like I said, Die Another Day, like I said, he had all the mechanics to make this film really great, but there was just something that was lacking or something happened that caused this to be such an utter failure. And unfortunately, this film had, like I said, had so much potential, and I feel that Lee just kind of got lost in this film, with unfortunately using so much CGI in this film, and then also just the story itself was kind of convoluted a little bit, because they were taking, things from other Ian Fleming novels and kind of mixing them together and like kind of reiterating them. And so I think that also kind of didn't play out very well for this James Bond film as well, because this movie, like I said, has such a lot of potential. But Lee, in his own right, is not a bad director. He just, I don't think he had the tools he needed to make this film so more successful. Otherwise, definitely check out Lee's directing. He's a decent director. I think he did a good job. I think what he got to work with this film, he did a decent job, especially with the action sequences, and definitely decent casting for this film. And it had a lot of great potential, and Lee just, didn't have all the tools I feel that he needed. But definitely check out Die Another Day for Lee's direction, because he does direct some goodness in this film. So this movie has a really great all-star cast that's really enjoyable, really awesome, and just had a lot of great, amazing scenes that were just really, just fun and really well acted. Now, there's some great honorable mentions that are in this film that, have been in several other films over the years that are really fun, like such as Rosamund Pike. She actually plays a pretty decent part in the film that was interesting and not too shabby. It was actually her first role, actually, which I found really interesting. I didn't realize this was her first role, and I can't believe she only made her debut back in 2002. I was like, wow, that's crazy to think. But yeah, this is her feature debut as an actress, which I thought was interesting. But to start us off with this awesome cast is none other than a great actor himself that plays Mr. Bond in this film. Like I said, his fourth and final outing as this character, Mr. Pierce Brosnan! Oh yeah, Pierce Brosnan! Woo! Pierce Brosnan! Absolutely, like I said in previous, reviews, Pierce is amazing. I absolutely love this guy. He's so awesome. He's so amazing. From Shattered to Laws of Attraction to, all his different characters he's done, for Mrs. Doubtfire and so forth. He's just so awesome and fun, and always enjoy to watch him. But another great film that I really enjoyed him in is a Ewan McGregor-led film that came out in the early 2000s that is just a really underrated great film that had a great premise and just was really sophisticated. And then, of course, a film called The Ghost Rider. Yeah, The Ghost Rider. Yeah, so Pierce Brosnan actually plays a bad guy in this film, and he's just really good at playing this character. And basically, he's a publisher who has ghostwriters write books for him, and Ewan McGregor ends up becoming one of those ghostwriters for him, and he finds out all his evil and dark secrets, and starts to reveal them on him. It's a really well done film, really fun, really interesting, and just really well rounded. Pierce Brosnan was so amazing in it and so good, and plays such an evil, great bad guy. If you haven't seen The Ghost Rider, definitely check it out. It's worth the watch. But it comes to playing Bond again. I mean, he was Bond. He was awesome. He was fun. He was probably one of the best parts about the film. And I just once again thought that he really brought a great evolution to the character. I loved the fact that, he was different than he was in the previous three that he did. And I just really enjoyed him overall in this film. And I think he did great, with this character. And I thought it was a decent last outing for him. Not financially and not overall movie-wise, but still a great final outing as Bond for him that was pretty amazing performance by him. If you haven't seen Pierce Brosnan or anything, definitely check him out and Die Another Day. He was actually really decent in it. So that brings me to the next actress that was in this film. And that, of course, is the Bond girl herself from this film, Miss Halle Berry! Oh yeah! Halle Berry! Woo! Halle Berry! Woo! Halle Berry! Oh, Halle Berry, she's such an awesome actress. I've always enjoyed her pretty much in anything I've ever seen in. I think she's a really fun actress. I think she's got a lot of depth. And she definitely deserves the Oscar she won. And I think that, she's done a lot of different movies where she showed a lot of different facets that are really fantastic and really well done. And I just really enjoy her in those things. But when it comes to one movie I really freaking love her in that I think is just a fantastic film, I don't think this movie gets enough credit for how amazing of a film it is. And that, of course, is a film called The Call. Yeah, The Call. So this came out in 2013, stars Abigail Breslin in it, and she is so freaking dynamic in this film. Halle Berry kicks butt as this, operator for 911 who takes this call from Abigail Breslin's character who's been kidnapped, and she basically, the whole movie's about her trying to help this girl, find her and save her, basically. And it is just a really fun film. I thought Holly did an amazing job. All the emotions and everything she brought to the character were just really well done. I really enjoyed just every aspect that she brought to the character, and I just really felt her emotions throughout the film, and I really felt that she was really connected with this character, and just, it was a really well done, overall great performance. If you haven't seen The Call, definitely check it out for Holly's performance. She was really amazing in it. But overall, I thought she was a pretty decent Bond girl. I enjoyed her in it. I thought she was fun. I thought that she did a lot of great action sequences. I thought that she brought a different, diversity to the characters. She actually, I feel she was like pretty much the second African-American woman in a James Bond film, I feel, or third, because we had, of course, Grace Jones, and then we had the actress from one of the Roger Moore films, too. But I feel like Holly Berry was the first actual Bond girl that was African-American. So I think that was really awesome, and I think that's, great to see her as that kind of that lead character versus what we've seen in the past, and I just thought that was really awesome, and I thought she just brought a greatness to this character. She was just really enjoyable, and, of course, she's great, to look at because she's just gorgeous and beautiful, and just really fun. So if you haven't seen Holly Berry or anything, definitely check her out. She's amazing. She was awesome in Die Another Day, and is just a really well done and amazing actress, and I definitely think that her performance in Die Another Day is worth a watch. So that brings me to the next actor I'm going to be talking about, and that, of course, is the main bad guy himself, Mr. Toby Stevens! Oh yeah, Toby Stevens! Woo! Toby Stevens! Woo! Toby Stevens! So yeah, Toby Stevens, he's been in a few things over the years. I haven't seen him in too many things, but from what I have seen him in, I think he's a pretty decent actor. Not too shabby. I don't think he's the greatest actor, but at the same time, I thought he did a pretty decent job of being a villain in this film. Now, Toby Stevens, like I said, you might recognize him from a few things over the years, but one movie that really stands out that I think is one of his best performances to date is a great 2013 film, I think, 2015, around that time, that stars John Krasinski and is based on a true story that happened over in Benghazi, called 13 Hours, The Soldiers of Benghazi. Yeah, 13 Soldiers. Yeah, this movie is freaking hardcore amazing. These poor, American troops that had to go through this ordeal, what they went through was just, amazing. How, awesome these guys were, how they, were these American guys that kicked butt, that, basically kept themselves going this whole time, and like, standing their own and stuff like that. And this movie just was a great homage to them and what they had to deal with. And I just thought it was a really well-rounded, awesome action film. And Toby Stevens actually plays one of the soldiers, and he's really fantastic in it. His performance, I think, is very Oscar-worthy, and I just thought he did an overall great job as the character in bringing us, what that American soldier dealt with, what he was going through, what he had to deal with, and just like, having to deal with what was happening to the other soldiers he was working with. It just was a really well done overall performance. If you haven't seen 13 Soldiers, The Soldiers of Benghazi, definitely check it out, people. It's worth the watch. A really amazing film, and Toby Stevens rocks in it. So like I was saying, when it comes to his villain performance, like I said, I thought it was a pretty decent role. I thought he did a pretty decent job. I don't think he's the greatest actor, but at the same time, I thought he brought some fun stuff to this role, and that he was a decent enough villain that it kept the movie flowing and kept the movie interesting and wanting to finish and watch it. Definitely, not the best villain, but definitely an interesting villain at that. If you haven't seen Mr. Toby Stevens anything, definitely check him out in Die Another Day. He was actually pretty decent. And then just one more honorable mention in this awesome cast, of course, is an amazing actress that has been around for decades and is just a fun actress to watch, that we got to see play M in several of these James Bond films. And that, of course, is Judi Dench, of course. Judi Dench is such an awesome actress. I love her as M. I thought she was fantastic as the character. I really enjoyed her as that character. And I just thought she brought a real great sternness to the character. And just her reactions to both Daniel Craig and to Pierce Brosnan as she was playing M between these two characters, she just brought a real great, awesome character that was just badass and awesome. If you haven't seen Judi Dench in anything, definitely check it out. She's worth the watch in pretty much any movie that she's ever done. So what is Die Another Day about? So basically the premise of this one is, once again, Bond has to save the world from, an evil guy. basically that's trying to take over the world, this time with, of course, nuclear weapons again. Basically, the main villain has altered himself to look completely different than what he originally looked like to, basically overtake the world and to become the new, master of the world, basically. And Bond has to, stop him and save the world once again. Your basic James Bond premise, it's a really awesome, it's a really decent film. For what it is. There are a lot of flaws to the film that could have been so much better, but overall, it's a pretty decent film that was fun to watch. I remember watching this back in 2002 when it first came out in DVD, and thinking, okay, this is an okay movie. Then watching it this time around, I was like, wow, I missed a lot of stuff the last time I watched it, and didn't realize how this could have been so much better. But, I don't think it's as bad as the critics have made it out to be. I don't think it's that horrible. But at the same time, it definitely is not my favorite of the James Bond films. I definitely think it's the worst of the James Bond films that I've seen. And definitely had a lot more potential to bring to the table that it could have been such a way better outing for Pierce Brosnan. But definitely worth the watch and definitely something to watch down the future again. Definitely an interesting film that had a lot of potential, like I said. If you haven't seen Die Another Day, definitely give it a whirl, people. It's definitely worth the watch. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching, thank you for liking, and also thank you for subscribing. And if it's your first time here, or you have been here before, don't forget to check out any older, newer videos you might not have seen mine yet. And as always, people, if you want to show support for my channel, you enjoy my content, definitely check out my links down below. Either for the Patreon page, where I do outtakes, bloopers, and all that kind of cool stuff, where you can see several different tiers where you get extra cool exclusives from me, cyberneticshark, or you can also check out my link for the horror pack, where you can get great horror films right to your door every month for a great low price. So definitely check those out, people. And as always, catch you in the next one!